Did you know that 95% of people believe money myths that keep them broke their entire lives? These myths aren't just bad advice, they're psychological traps passed down from parents, schools, even society itself. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who controlled the wealth of the entire Roman Empire, wrote in his Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." He understood what most people forget. Our financial reality is built in our minds, long before it shows up in our bank accounts. Today, I'm going to expose the money lies that keep most people poor and show you how to escape them for good. Have you ever stopped to wonder if working harder isn't the answer? What is? Stay with me, because today's truth could flip your entire money story upside down. This video is different. It's deeper. We're not talking about budgeting apps or investment strategies today. We're going to the root, the lies that shape how you think about money before you even touch a dollar. I know because I've been there. If you're working harder than ever, following all the rules, and still struggling, you're not broken, the game is. And it's time to rewrite the rules. Picture this. You're working harder than ever, following all the rules about money, but somehow you're still struggling. That was me for years, until I discovered something shocking. The problem wasn't my strategy. It was the invisible beliefs programming my brain to fail. See, what we're dealing with isn't just financial illiteracy. It's something much more dangerous: financial mythology. Stories we tell ourselves about money that feel true but are actually destroying our chances at real wealth. The ancient philosophers called this false impressions, and they had specific techniques for breaking free from them. What you're about to learn isn't just financial philosophy, it's emotional resilience in finances. It's the difference between being a slave to money and being its master. Here's the philosophical framework that changes everything. Epictetus, who went from slave to one of history's greatest teachers, taught that we suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about those events. This applies directly to money. Imagine your mind as a computer that came with pre-installed malware, old money beliefs from society, family, culture. The lies we believe about money aren't just wrong information, they're malicious code that rewrites your financial operating system. The Stoics called these false judgments, and modern psychology confirms they create what we know as scarcity mindset. Epictetus lived this truth. As a slave, he had no money, no freedom, no possessions. Yet he developed a philosophy of abundance that would influence minds for over 2,000 years. How? He understood that wealth begins with wisdom. Specifically, the wisdom to distinguish between what's truly under our control and what isn't. The money lies we're about to expose all have one thing in common. They make you focus on things outside your control, while ignoring the immense power you have over your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. They turn you into a financial slave even when you're technically free. Let's start with the lie that poisons millions of minds. Money is the root of all evil. You've heard it 1,000 times. Your parents probably said it. Your teachers reinforced it. But what if I told you? It's not even what the Bible says. The real verse is, "The love of money is the root of all evil." That changes everything. Picture this. You're at a fork in the road. One path says money is evil and leads to self-sabotage. The other says money is a tool and opens a whole new world of impact and possibility. Here's how this lie destroys you. It creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance around wealth. You want financial security, but you've been programmed to believe that wanting money makes you somehow immoral. So your subconscious mind sabotages every opportunity to build wealth. The ancient Stoics had a completely different view. Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest men, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Notice the distinction. Poverty isn't about how much you have. It's about your relationship with what you have. Here's the Stoic approach. Money is a preferred indifferent. It's better to have it than not have it. but your character and happiness don't depend on it. This removes the guilt around wanting wealth and the desperation that pushes wealth away. Believing money is evil doesn't make you virtuous. It makes you powerless. Start viewing money as a tool for good, not evil. Ask yourself, how could having more money allow me to serve others better? This single shift can unlock earning potential you never knew you had. And if you grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees or we can't afford that, drop a comment below. You're not alone. But here's where it gets even more insidious. What if working harder is actually keeping you stuck? The second lie. Hard work always leads to wealth. This is the great American myth, and it's destroying millions of lives. We've all heard it. Just work hard, keep your head down, and you'll get ahead. But look around. Who's working harder? The CEO or the construction worker? The hedge fund manager or the nurse working double shifts? Imagine two people walking to the same destination. One is walking on foot, sweating, exhausted. The other is driving a car, comfortable, getting there faster. That's the difference between working hard and working smart. Here's what this lie does. It makes us confuse activity with progress, effort with effectiveness. It keeps us on the hamster wheel, running faster and faster but never actually getting ahead. Marcus Aurelius understood this trap. As emperor, he could have worked 24/7 on the endless demands of running an empire. Instead, he wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He focused on what actually moved the needle, not just what kept him busy. The Stoics taught something revolutionary: the difference between preferred actions and desperate actions. Preferred actions come from strategy and wisdom. Desperate actions come from fear and the belief that more effort automatically equals more results. Value beats hustle every time. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Wealth comes from value creation, not time trading. You can work 80 hours a week at minimum wage and stay broke, or work 20 hours a week creating something valuable and become wealthy. Every week, ask yourself, am I working hard or working smart? Am I creating value or just filling time? This question alone can double your income within a year. If you've ever felt like you're running on a hamster wheel, financially speaking, let me know in the comments. But what if the most expensive lie is the one you tell yourself every single day? The third lie, I'm just not good with money. This one kills me because it's so common and so destructive. People say this like it's their DNA, like eye color or height. I'm just not a money person. Picture your brain as a garden. Every time you say, I'm bad with money, you're planting weeds. Those weeds grow into beliefs. Those beliefs become actions, and those actions create your financial reality. Here's what neuroscience tells us. Your brain is neuroplastic. It changes based on what you practice and believe about yourself. When you say, I'm not good with money, you're literally programming your brain to prove you right. The ancient Stoics understood this concept they called premeditatio malorum, rehearsing outcomes in your mind. When you constantly tell yourself you're bad with money, you're doing negative rehearsal, you're practicing failure. Epictetus taught, wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. But notice something crucial. This isn't about being poor, it's about being powerful. When you don't need money desperately, you make better decisions with money. It's not your bank balance, it's your mental balance that determines your wealth. Here's what changes everything. Money management is a skill, not a talent. It can be learned, practiced, and mastered. The Stoics proved this. They developed systematic approaches to wealth that work regardless of your starting point. Stop saying, I'm bad with money. Start saying, I'm learning to master money. Your brain will start looking for evidence to support this new belief instead of sabotaging it. Comment below, what negative money story have you been telling yourself? It's time to rewrite it. Now here's the lie that's probably costing you 6 figures over your lifetime, and it involves how you see other people's success. The fourth lie, rich people are greedy. lucky, or corrupt. This is psychological self-defense mechanism. If rich people got their money through luck or corruption, then you don't have to feel bad about not being rich. It's not your fault. The system is rigged, right? Imagine you're in a restaurant, but you spend the whole time criticizing the chef instead of learning the recipe. That's what happens when you demonize wealth. You never learn how to create it. Here's the trap. When you demonize wealth, you push it away from yourself. Psychologists call this wealth guilt or money avoidance. You can't become something you fundamentally despise. Seneca addressed this directly. He was criticized for being a philosopher who was also wealthy. His response was brilliant. I do not retreat from life, but make my experience accord with my principles. He refused to choose between wisdom and wealth. The Stoics understood something profound. Character and wealth aren't opposites. In fact, the discipline required to build real wealth, delayed gratification, strategic thinking, emotional control, these are the same virtues that build character. Wealth isn't about luck, it's about learned discipline. Here's what research actually shows. Most wealthy people aren't greedy or corrupt. Studies show they're actually more likely to be disciplined, future-oriented, and willing to delay gratification. These are learnable traits, not genetic gifts. Start studying wealthy people you respect instead of wealthy people you resent. What habits do they have? What principles guide their decisions? Model success. Don't demonize it. Tell me in the comments. Who's one wealthy person you actually respect and why? But there's one final lie that might be the most dangerous of all. Because it makes wealth your master instead of your servant. The fifth lie. I'll be happy when I have enough money. This is the flip side of demonizing wealth, putting wealth on a pedestal. Once I have X dollars in the bank, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be secure. Then my life will really begin. Picture a person climbing a ladder, but every time they reach the top, the ladder gets taller. That's the hedonic treadmill in action. Here's what actually happens. You hit that number. Happiness lasts about a week. Then, you need a new number. It's called the hedonic treadmill in psychology, but the Stoics understood it 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, literally the richest man in his world, wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. Not because money doesn't matter, but because happiness that depends on external things is always fragile. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant." The Stoic solution is this. Find fulfillment in the process, not the outcome. Build wealth because you enjoy the challenge, the growth, the ability to serve others, not because you think it will fix your internal state. Celebrate financial milestones, but don't wait for them to start living fully. The mindset that builds wealth is the same mindset that creates happiness. Focus on what you can control, accept what you can't, and find meaning in the journey itself. And if everything you think you know about money has just been turned upside down, that's exactly where transformation begins. So here's what changes when you stop believing these lies. Everything. You stop settling for less and start demanding what you're worth. You stop being afraid of money and start using it as a tool for impact. You stop working harder and start working smarter. You stop making excuses and start making progress. The ancient Stoics faced wars, plagues, economic collapse, political upheaval, challenges that make our modern financial problems look trivial. Yet they developed principles for building and maintaining wealth that still work today because they understood something we've forgotten. The biggest money lie is the one you don't realize you're telling yourself. Your relationship with money is ultimately your relationship with yourself. When you believe lies about money, you're really believing lies about your own capability, your own worth, your own power to create change in your life. But here's the beautiful truth that Marcus Aurelius discovered. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. You can change your thoughts about money starting right now, today. In this moment, ask yourself, which of these lies have I been believing? How has it shaped my financial decisions? What would change if I stopped believing it today? This isn't just about getting rich, though you probably will. This is about becoming free. Free from the mental prisons that keep most people trapped in financial mediocrity their entire lives. What changes when you stop believing these lies? You stop playing by their rules and start playing by your own code. Before you click away, pause for a moment. Which one of these money lies is yours? Name it. Write it down. That's the first step to breaking it. I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these money lies hit you the hardest? Which one have you been believing that might be holding you back? If you got real value today, hit like. That's how we keep building this movement of free minds. And if you're new here, subscribe to keep feeding your millionaire brain and unlock more ancient wisdom every week. We're building a community of deep thinkers who understand that true wealth starts in the mind. Hit that notification bell, because next week we're diving even deeper into how ancient wisdom can solve modern money problems. Until then, question everything you think you know about wealth.